Distributive Property book. Find that and turn to page 5. The lesson will be on pages. Let's look at page 5. Together we'll do number 1, 2, and 4. This is simplifying expressions with distribution. The first one is very simple. You've done this before. You've got 2x minus 1 in parentheses. You're multiplying that by 7 and adding 8. We'll go ahead and do the distributive property because you cannot add 2x or you cannot subtract 2x and 1. So 7 times 2x is 14x. 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. Then I'll finish. Plus 8. Hi, baby. Oops. So now I'll go back and combine like terms. 14x. Negative 7 plus 8, baby, gives me plus 1. 14x plus 1. Number 2 is the same but slightly different. Instead of a positive integer, you have a negative integer that you're multiplying when you distribute. So negative 3. Negative 3 times 3x is negative 9x. Negative 3 times negative 5, don't think of that as minus 5. Think of it as negative 5. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Plus 8x. I'll combine my like terms. Negative 9x plus 8x is negative x, negative 1x or negative x, and then plus 15. Another one is down here. The same, except that the part that you're not distributing is in front rather than behind, whereas that you had that behind. Now it's in front, same thing. So we'll just bring this straight down because it's not involved in the distribution part. So you've got your 12x plus 3 times negative 4x. Well, positive 3 times negative 4 is negative 12x. Positive 3 times positive 1 is positive 3. So now when we go through and we combine our like terms, we have 12x minus 12x, which gives us 0x plus 3. And when I simplify that, I don't need that. I just end up with 3. When the lesson is over, I want you to go back to this page and finish it. I also want you to finish page 6 on your own. It's all problems like these, so you can do those. And we'll go over some of page 7 together. In fact, most of page 7 together. So go ahead for the video lesson and turn to page 7. We're going to do the top 4 together. And you can do the bottom on your own. Which problem requires the distributive property to simplify it? Well, let's look. We're going to rewrite using the distributive property where necessary. Let's work through these first 2 to figure out what exactly that means. 7x minus 3 plus 1 times 4x is 4x. 1 times 1 is 1. I guess this one is the same as it was up here, so we could have done this without distributing because this is just 1 that you're multiplying, so this is all going to stay the same. You've got 7x plus 4x is 11x. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. We could have gone straight from here down to here. We could have gone 7x plus 4x and negative 3 plus 1 because this stayed the same. Look here. Hi, baby. Number 2. Let's see. So 7x minus 3. 7x minus 3 Now you have -1 times 4, because you're going to multiply this times everything inside. -1 times 4 would be -4, so -4x. -1 times +1 is -1. So we have, this becomes -4x minus 1, because this is a -1. When we distribute, we get something different. So now, to put it all together, 7x minus 4x is 3x, -3, -1, -4. Now let's come down here. Recall that oftentimes in math, the 1 is invisible, as is a -1. So these two are identical to these two. So these are essentially the same. The only difference is, whereas this has a 1 in front of the parentheses, this has an invisible 1 in front of the parentheses, both of these. So obviously here we don't have to distribute because there's nothing to distribute, right? So okay, so we have 7x plus 4x is 11x. -3 plus 1 is -2. So we got the same thing. Now here, this is a minus, and that might confuse you, but if you think of it as a -1, it will make sense. So we've got 7x minus 3, -1 times 4x is -4x, -1 times +1 is -1. So we end up with the same thing as we did up here. We get 7x minus 4x is 3x, -3, -1 is -4. There we go. So the whole point of this is when you have minus in front of parentheses that requires distribution, think of it as a -1. So I want you to do these down here on your own. It's the same way. If you need to write a 1 right here, if that helps you, go ahead and do that, and then you'll do -1 times 2n is -2n. -1 times +1 is -1. The same with this. So -1 times 2a is -2a. -1 times +4 is -4. If it helps you to draw that 1 in there, go ahead and do that. While it's fresh in your mind, I want you to go back to page 5, finish page 5, do page 6, and then do the last 2 on page 7. You'll have more of this on the next few pages. The important thing is to go back and practice this skill while it's fresh in your mind. That's how you'll get stronger at it, so that the next time you do this on the next page, it'll be easier.